Sri Lanka is very advanced and they've done so well.
Yes.
However, the commitment to leaving no one behind can be
And this powered by the we have both
Is to say what about the women and don't leave them behind.
yeah.
Yes.
So this is, and the government asked us for it within this gift.
Invited to welcome our teacher.
Yeah, good. Very important.
Represents the shared commitment between partners to take health services where they are most needed.
That is wonderful. That is really beautiful. Thank you. I will take this to Government House in Canberra and leave it to show people who come and visit us why they should come and see the South. Yes, that is good. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I don't know if you know, but I am the first representative head of state of Australia to ever visit Sri Lanka, the very first. And I think it is significant that I'm a woman in this role. We have only had 2 women as Governors General in the history of 28 Governors General. So the role of women as leaders, the gender equality that defines how we show up and we understand the issues of those often left behind can sometimes be as obvious as women in leadership position. And I was very, very privileged just this week to meet with your Prime Minister, also a woman, and to meet with many of the women who are leading the discussions that bring us to this moment. The Mayor of Colombo is a young woman. There are women in your parliaments. There are women who dominate in your health provision services. So in acknowledging the extraordinary array of dignitaries here today, of which who have all been named, I want to say it means a great deal that so many of you are here representing the government, the province, UNFPA and the people of this region to join in what is a momentous moment for me representing all Australians, because there are many things we do together. We have been deep friends, Australia and Sri Lanka, for almost 80 years. This is one of the most important national relationships that we have. We share many things. We share values particularly, and values about care and kindness. I came to Sri Lanka myself in 2005, a year after the tsunami that devastated this part of South Sri Lanka. And I recall at the time the generosity of people who had lost so much, lost members of families, lost their homes, and yet welcomed us because we were paying attention and wanting to come to Sri Lanka to say that Australians had not stopped caring. In getting to know our High Commissioner and to hear how he has described over his time here what it means to represent Australia, I've learnt, in the words that Paul uses, Australians believe in Sri Lanka. It's a very simple statement, but to have a belief in another nation is far greater than just talking about the friendship. It means that there's a depth to the relationship and a commitment from us and a responsibility to show up when there are issues and matters that we can help with. The biggest diaspora of Sri Lankan people are in Australia. Almost 200,000 people with Sri Lankan origin live in Australia. Many of my friends have Sri Lankan backgrounds, and I get to know about Sri Lankan culture in all of its diversity through my friends in Australia. You have 20,000 Sri Lankan young people who are studying in Australia. They're often studying things like nursing and care and medicine, and so they get to see a system in Australia, one of the best health systems. But even in our world, there are problems with equity and equality. In our world, even as a developed country, we still see women often left behind, particularly with sexual, maternal and reproductive health matters. It has come on too late, but we do now have it. We are now proud of the equality that sits in our medical and care system. And most of our care in our system is provided by women, but often it's the women who need the care, particularly for our very specific needs as women. So to be asked to come today, to coincide with the first visit of a head of state, to launch something as vitally important as Health on Wheels, there could be almost no more important gift and commitment to Sri Lanka that we could make than Health on Wheels. As you said, when we were inside this wonderful facility, it's been co-designed. This particular mobile unit will be able to pick up underlying health trends, look at the mental health of these women, look at their children, look at the family. These are all a holistic view of health you only get if you go to the people where they are. And often it is the women in remote parts of Sri Lanka, as it is in Australia, who are left behind. And what I love about this is that the Australian Development Program, Australian Aid, working with UNFPA, with the Ministries of Health, with the province here, we've been able to come together respectfully to design and deliver something that goes back to Paul's simple words, we believe in you. Because if we didn't believe in you, we would come up with a solution and throw it at you and hope for the best. That would be the worst possible form of development assistance imaginable. Instead, this is collaborative. Women have been consulted. Women will be leading this, and it will be the women of the provinces and the most remote communities, those with disability, as you say, that will finally have an equality of health outcome. Now, when I was talking to your President and the Prime Minister, I know that there has been a vital change in this country about what lies ahead. The removal of corruption, an ambition to be a country that's economic recovery will say something to the rest of the world. Your recovery can only happen if women are part of that. When we invest in women, we invest in the entire community. Communities don't flourish if women fall behind, and we often forget that. And none of this is at the expense of men. It's about lifting the whole society. So I couldn't have been more proud than to be here together with all of my colleagues from the High Commission, from the Ministry of Health, from the provincial governments, and with UNFPA, and all these wonderful people who've worked on the co-design of the Health on Wheels, to be able to say, number one of three. There'll be 3 of these units. They're magnificent, they're the best in the world. It gives me great pleasure as Australia's Governor-General both to receive those very warm thanks, which I will pass on both to the Government of Australia, but I will reflect on this when I travel across Australia about how our development program works best and how it's being received here, and that women of Sri Lanka will feel united with the women of Australia, I hope, and know that we do care and we do believe. And I hope this makes a profound difference in the lives of women and families in Sri Lanka, and will be part of the great moment you stand at, which will be the recovery and growth of Sri Lanka, continuing to be a great friend of Australia. So thank you for having me here today. This is probably the most important visit I will make in the trip, and it has all been important, but this feels like a very special moment to invest in those often left behind. Thank you for the privilege of coming today.